Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I'm your host, Brent Piles, and with me, as always, is my friend and cohort from across the ocean and from the future. He's the ballroom brawling, disco dancing, dynamite stretching, intercontinental playboy. Folks, he's more over than having a bunch of diamonds in your belt in Saudi Arabia. As you hear WrestleMania, Glenn, how you doing?
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning. And the reason I say that is because we're going back to St. Patrick's Day, March the 17th in 1998.
You know what? I forgot that it was St. Patrick's Day. I thought maybe you were just like feeling like maybe me and you had the luck of the Irish because we are the new AWI Pod Premium Live Event Prediction Champions because we have defeated the mayor once again. His love for Chelsea Green has done him in.
Yeah, well, we'll be gloating about that at a later point.
There's also usually a point in this show where we talk about football from the weekend, and
there's nothing to talk about. There was no football at the weekend.
Well, there was, but not any of that were any good. Yeah. So yeah, not a good outing for any of my sports teams. I was 0-3 for the weekend. Nebraska lost, Arsenal lost, the Bears lost. So nothing good happening this weekend in sports. So yeah, nothing to touch on there. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess that's it. I guess we'll just get right into this, won't we? I think I lost you for a second. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. All right. Well, let's just get into the show here. It's Raw is War from March the 16th, 1998, from the American West Arena, Phoenix, Arizona. The American West Arena, now known as the Footprint Center, opened in 1992 and is the home of the Phoenix Suns of the NBA and the Phoenix Mercury of the WNBA. This arena has held many pay-per-views over the years, including the 2003 SummerSlam, Judgment Day in 2006, Cyber Sunday in 2008, and Money in the Bank in 2012 and Elimination Chamber in 2017, as well as many SmackDowns and Raws over the years. No head-to-head ratings this week, as this Raw took place on a Saturday night, and we are only 12 days away from WrestleMania 14. Yeah, so the first thing that happened was, and we're going to get a lot of this, was an in-ring promo with Ken Shamrock, of all people. I don't know. We always say that they could have done more with Ken Shamrock, and I don't mean that promo-wise. I mean, like, he could have been a badass with, like, a heater or somebody. Not a heater, but, like, a manager with him to talk for him. That's what I meant. You know, he would have been a great sort of like challenger against Stone Cold Steve Austin with the backing of Mr. McMahon, if you know what I mean. So Ken's promo skills are left to be desired, so it's really weird that this was the way they decided to start the show. It's very strange to me.
It wasn't one of his worst, though, apart from certain bits.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, yeah, it wasn't the worst promo in the world. We'll see worse promos on this show, in fact. But still, I just thought he's a weird guy to kick off the show. They talk about him putting the ankle lock on the Rock last week. They asked him about will he be able to keep his temperature check at WrestleMania. He talks about losing my temper has saved my life a couple of times. He tells the Rock that at WrestleMania he'll be the real Intercontinental Champion. Which then brings The Rock and the rest of the nation out to the ramp. The Rock said he's sick and tired of hearing about Ken whine and cry about what he's going to do at WrestleMania. He says Shamrock couldn't last 2 minutes with any member of the nation, much less with The Rock. He then says if the Shamrock can defeat any member of the nation tonight in under 2 minutes, he will give him a championship match this evening, which he then sends D'Lo Brown down to the ring to fight him. And they wrestle for, obviously like a minute and 30 seconds. He puts him in the ankle lock. But then The Rock comes down and absolutely annihilates Ken Shamrock with a pair of chair shots. I mean,
I can't, but I actually saw an interview with Ken Shamrock where he actually invited those chair shots to he said that it was his idea on all of them.
I think that was just the times where it was considered, I don't know, the way to do it, to take him like that in the face and not get your hands up. And, knowing what we know now with concussions and CTE and all that, When you see stuff like that now, you just you cringe. You know what I mean? You're like, oh no, you shouldn't have done that. But at the time, even I mean, they were doing lots of stiff chair shots in '98, but this was one of the stiffer chair shots for the time, especially the second one. He hit him with the first one, but the second one where Ken's on his knees and he absolutely scrambles his fucking brains with the second one. Like Ken Shamrock feels that every morning when he wakes up in the front of his cranium. I guarantee he does.
You would think so, yeah.
He doesn't remember why it hurts, but it hurts.
Yeah, that's
So yeah, like while I won't condone chair shots like that, like I get why they did it, and like I don't like I said I didn't think like starting the show with Ken Shamrock with a promo it was a great idea, but on as a whole, it was a pretty good segment.
it was, yeah.
This is one of
Yeah,
the
Saved by the Rock yet again.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna say this is one of the few segments that we'll talk about where they actually did build a match at WrestleMania, because a lot of this is just nonsense, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, talk about nonsense. What comes next is definitely nonsense.
Nothing but nonsense. You go ahead.
Talk about bad.
You talk all about that one. Go ahead.
You talk about bad promos. She's lovely to look at. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I know your taste in women are slightly different to mine. I prefer the more pneumatic type. But Sable, she can't cut a promo to save her life.
No, the nice thing that they did for her is they had her say the word bitch, because wrestling fans love it when someone says bitch. I don't know why, but we love it. Anytime someone says bitch, we're like, yeah, bitch. Oh, I can't believe you said that.
They went bananas when she said she called Una a bitch.
Yeah, she said, you little bitch. She's had it with her. It's time for them to settle this once and all for all. Challenges her to a match tonight. I don't know. This was fine. I wouldn't say it was ugly or bad, but I won't say it's good either. It was just there.
No, then we get a bad.
Yeah.
This bloody Sun Phoenix gorilla. I can understand slightly why they have the local team's mascot, but that guy was so over the top, it was unbelievable.
You might not know this because you live in merry old England, but like that's the thing of, I don't know if they still have this for the Phoenix Suns, but that was like his thing. That Phoenix Suns gorilla, that was just like the thing that he did. He did shit over the top shit. And that's just what he did, and he would show up fucking everywhere. So I wasn't surprised by what was going on. I just kept waiting for Kane to come out and beat him up, because I knew it was going to come. And every time he would come out and Kane wouldn't come out and beat him up, I would go, oh, just made me very sad if Kane didn't come out. So yeah, and then
later on, that's where Kane gets a good from me later on in the show. But we'll come to that when we get.
Yeah, then the next thing is motherfucking Tom Brandy's back. He's going to be taking on Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
And, Tennessee Lee is out here to introduce him, and he says, what are you gonna say, Glenn?
Oh, I don't know what to say. This left me speechless. We've got a horse.
I forgot he came down on a fucking horse. He also said that he had Elvis at first. Remember, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis Presley."
Yeah, oh no, it's not Elvis. It's somebody that it's not.
Yeah, instead it's Jeff Jarrett. It's not Elvis, it's Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's here, riding a horse. I don't know how long this is going to last for, but yes, he's riding a horse. He's taking on Tom Brandy. And the best thing that I can say about this match is that it wasn't Tom Brandy versus Mark Merrow. And that's the only thing good I can say about
it. Yeah, thank God that's finished with. But we didn't need him again. And he's still wearing those Italian trunks, although he's calling himself Tom Brandy now.
Yeah, he's probably like Italian in real life. He looks Italian, but like, why don't you give him an Italian name? Tom Brandy doesn't sound very Italian.
No, it doesn't.
That sounds like an Irish name, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more Irish than.
Yeah, so this is bad. Jeff Jarrett wins with the figure 4, but this is bad.
Yeah. The only thing you can say about this is that finally this week, Jeff Jarrett actually sort of worked on the leg a bit before he slapped him in the figure four. But thank God it was short.
Yeah, because if it had went any longer, I would have just turned my TV off and stopped watching 1998 Raws forever. And then, like, they showed, like, dueling. They showed one about Shawn Michaels, a video package about Shawn Michaels here, and then they show one about Stone Cold Steve Austin later. I thought the Stone Cold one was much better than the Shawn Michaels one, but either way, I didn't like either one of them, really. And I thought it was strange to show these and not have the guys on the show 2 weeks before WrestleMania. At least not doing a promo segment or something. I just thought it was very strange.
Yeah, it just went on and on and on. It just seemed like, like most of this show, it just seemed like a filler. Apparently, the reason that this was shifted to Tuesday is because it's a Moby Dick show.
It's a good way to describe it. A Moby Dick show. We then saw the mascot again, but Kane didn't come out to beat him up, so that's no use talking about it. We then got a handicap match with the Rock and Roll Express and Jim Cornette taking on the Headbangers.
I have an issue with this.
Hold on one second.
They said it was.
Let me go straighten these fucking dogs.
But the size of Cornette, this is more like 4-on-2.
That's fair. But with the wrestling skills of Cornette, like the Headbangers told them before the match, they're more at the disadvantage than they are.
Yeah, that's right. As it proved. Again, this is something that the Headbangers doing the Headbanger thing is good. And you can't give it a bad. It was just there because it was all to set up this ending where the Headbangers get the win with the stage dive. And then when they try to beat up Cornette, we get Bart Gunn and Bob Holly come out as, was it Bombastic Bob and Bodicious Bart, the new Midnight Express. Now, we know that wrestling history dictates that if you call something the new something, it's going to be crap.
Yeah, it's not going to work out. Yeah, they come out, they lay waste to the Headbangers. They look like they're going to join up with Jim Cornette in this NWA gimmick and the Rock and Roll Express, but then the Rock and Roll get in there and they beat them up, take them apart.
It's good
because Cornette says
at least that's all right. At least it means now that the Rock and Roll Express can go back to being baby faces, which they should always have been.
I'm not 100% sure, but I can't imagine the Rock and Roll Express are going to be long for this world. As far as, I mean, like, not this world today, I mean 1998 world. 1998.
After this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they're going to try to reunite a, Rock and Roll Midnight Express feud, but God, I hope not. So then finally the Gorilla comes back again, but then this time, Glenn, I got what I wanted. Kane comes down, pile drives and choke slams the Gorilla. And I gotta say, I've never agreed with something JR said more, because he said this isn't funny, and you're wrong, JR, because I thought it was hilarious.
Hilarious, absolutely hilarious. That Gorilla died, thankfully.
Yeah.
I looked at it as it's not very often that side with Kane, either as Kane or as the person. But that was a mercy killing.
Yeah,
and he put us all out of misery.
Yeah, he did all of us a favor on that one. Owen Hart comes down to join commentary. They show us his ankle injury from the week before, and that looked fucking gruesome, didn't it?
It did, didn't it? That was up there. That doesn't get highlighted very often, I suppose, because they don't talk about poor old Owen Hart and that. But yeah, that's up there with the knee job, that one.
Yeah, that shit looks fucking bad. And that just goes to show you ankles, because it did that and his ankle didn't even break. It was just a sprain. Yeah, but he's got a boot on now, so keep that in mind for when we get to something later. But the match here is Chainsaw Charlie versus Billy Gunn. Charlie comes down to the ring by himself, but both the Outlaws are out here. They've got a dumpster with them labeled as Jack's Home, which I thought was pretty funny. One thing that was really annoying was the Road Dogg doing live commentary on the mic during the match, which it really took away from any part of you trying to pay attention to the match because you couldn't, because all you could hear was him yammering on. So I didn't like that part of it.
Yeah, especially when it's all about Cactus and Charlie getting retribution for what's been happening to them by the Outlaws.
I mean, it was an okay match, but it was pretty short. When Terry Funk starts to make a comeback, he hits a DDT on Road. He hits a DDT, but then Road Dogg hits the ring, attacks him with the tag team belt, but he fights him off. He ends up DDTing Billy Gunn on the tag team belt. Cactus Jack shows up at the top of the ramp. They tie up the Road Dogg's feet and sort of a la what happened to Dominic Mysterio, minus beating him with kendo sticks, and they kind of hang him upside down.
It was. I'm surprised they didn't use kendo sticks on him, actually.
I was waiting for them to start beating the shit out of him with something. My favorite is when Jack gets on the mic and he says, "Don't you know you should never leave your tag team partner alone?" Because they were saying that to him last week when they attacked Chainsaw Charlie. And then he tells the Road Dogg, "I don't even know how to get you down from there, so your ass better call somebody."
So good. So good.
I mean, that was one of the best parts of the show for me.
Yes, yeah, and me.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot.
It was entertaining.
Yeah, I mean the match was hard hitting, even though it was short. It built the story for WrestleMania, and it was funny. So it hit all three for me. So that was a really good part of the show. We then hear Luna accept Sable's challenge. Sable used the bitch term, so Luna went with slut because since bitch was already used, she called Sable a slut. So she is going to fight Sable tonight. So stick around for that. I know you'll be waiting with bated breath to see that. And then Mr. McMahon then comes down to the ring, Glenn, and he's got something to. Well, he's got a bunch of questions to be asked by old Kevin Kelly. The major thing that I took away from this is that Vince McMahon apparently hates sign language, so apparently also hates deaf people. Well, he said, I don't much appreciate sign language, and I don't much appreciate it in my face. So I took away that he hates sign language and hates deaf people too, apparently. I don't know why, but he does.
I think he might have been referring to the signs in the crowd rather than ASL.
No, it was because they were talking about Austin flipping him off, and that was the sign language he didn't like.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, of course it was. Yeah. Anyway, but the good thing about this, we're starting to get a taste of Mr. McMahon. He got booed for the first.
They heavily booed him.
Yes.
I thought it was they asked him why he didn't hit Stone Cold Steve Austin. He says he's trying to save the main event of WrestleMania. And they're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, how could Austin wrestle with a broken jaw? He must have known that Austin wasn't there."
Yeah. Then he goes on about doing. He does answer your question is no. In fact, it's hell no.
Yeah, when he's asking, he asked him like if he wants him to, if he wants to see Austin be the World Wrestling Federation champion. He kind of dodges the question at first and says it doesn't matter what I want, it's what the fans want, and then he kind of doubles down on him, wants him to answer the question. Then he says it's not a no, it's a hell no, and he says to close it out, that's the bottom line because Vince McMahon says so. And I want to say this is bad because anytime I see Vince McMahon now, I cringe because of everything that we found out about him, or that we probably already knew, but then it was confirmed to us. But they were laying the groundwork for what's to come after WrestleMania. So I, in good conscience, can't say it was bad or ugly. It
did what it had to do.
Exactly. Now this next thing I thought was silly because I didn't see the point of this. Because I know that Owen Hart does wrestle at WrestleMania, so I don't know why they did this. The only reason they could have been like rationally explained to me why they did it is if Owen would not have been able to work WrestleMania. So I didn't understand any of this, and I don't think it didn't add anything to the match at WrestleMania. I think it just made Owen look like a buffoon, personally.
Yeah, especially with Triple H trying to walk over him.
Yeah, like we said, Owen's out there on the commentary team. He's in a walking boot, but then Hunter comes out there.
Owen's in a support boot.
And then Hunter starts, jawing at him. He calls him a coward, says he's not really hurt.
What happened to all this thing about not clear wrestling? This has got to be the worst title change in history and the quickest.
It's got to be up there.
And it really made Owen look bad, which wasn't the point of this at all. He's done nothing for the story leading up to WrestleMania. It just humiliated Owen.
Yeah, he loses the belt when he's injured, and because China hit him with a baseball bat. So yeah, I don't know. I didn't like this. I just thought it made Owen look silly, and I didn't see the point of it. So I don't know. Not good for me. Um, and then for the second or third, I think it might be the third week in a row. Well, I guess not really. Never mind, because I forgot that something else happens. So the thing with Luna and Vishon and Sable happens next, but really the only reason why they do this is they can do the whole thing that we see at the end. But of course they get out there and it's the same thing we've been seeing for weeks. They try to fight each other, people separate them. Except for this time they actually do start fighting a little bit more, and I think Sable starts ripping Luna's clothes off a little bit. But Luna was wearing see-through clothes already, so it didn't matter if you ripped your clothes off. You could already see everything. So
Yeah. The best bit of this was Mark Merrow being the typical cowardly heel, where the lights go out and Kane appears and he disappears. Sable to it.
yeah, he comes out there when Sable's like on the ground. It looks like she like hurt her knee or something, and yeah, as soon I mean Merrow stayed in there for a little while, but as soon as Kane started to get in the ring, Merrow said, "I'm gonna go get help," and took off running. Which you knew that was coming. So he gets in the Paul Bear gets in the ring. He's kind of taunting Sable, and it looks like Kane's getting ready to attack her. And then we get the lights go out. We get several gongs. We're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then they show the Undertaker. He is on top of the Titantron. He says, "Kane, you will address me. You will know my name as the Lord of Darkness." He tells Kane, I have felt your wrath. Now you will feel mine. It's too late to turn back, and at WrestleMania you will rest in peace. He then has a bolt of lightning strike a casket that has something that looks sort of like Kane in there, but not really because it was way too short and way too skinny to be Kane. And then it sets it on fire. While this wasn't a great show, they sure ended it with a fucking bang, didn't they?
They certainly did. And this is the sort of thing that all the people that say how great the Attitude Era was remember, and not all the rest of the crap that goes on just before it.
They don't remember they don't remember the 3 or 4 minute segment leading up to it when Luna and Sable were rolling around in the ring. Nobody remembers that. But we remember when the Undertaker appeared on top of the Titantron.
Yeah, that's it.
I think that's kind of the point of this show. As you saw, we went through a whole bunch of shit to see a shade of good. And everybody looks back at everything through rose-colored glasses, and we all do it. You do it, I do it, we all do it with anything in life. I'm sure you feel like football was better when you were, when you used to watch it back in the day now, and I probably feel like the NFL is better back in the day when I used to watch it than I do now. And it's just the way it is. But when you go back and look at the whole of it, it wasn't always as great as what you seem. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it isn't.
We have a thing over here. Back in the 1970s, they had 2 football shows on. The Match of the Day on Saturday night, still on there. And then I'd say sort of great at the time, aren't as exactly good as you thought they were.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly how it goes. But yeah, so that's it for this episode. I mean, all in all, it didn't have enough good for me to give it. I'm only going to give it 1 thumb down. I'm not going to give it 2, but it's going to get 1 thumb down for me. It just didn't have enough good things for me to say it was a good show.
Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Right. Yeah, it's half a thumb for me.
Half
Not
a
one
thumb.
complete, half a thumb.
That is fair. Half of that was fair, I think. But yeah, that's it. That is it for this episode. Glenn, who do you want to plug before we get out of here?
I'm booking the territory. They've just finished up their unstacked. So next week, I think they're going back to being the Elite Gate of Golf in a new series of that. So keep your eye out for that. Also, check out their older stuff. Like I'm booking the Tankatori, the Life and Times of Tank Abbott, and also, of course, the
Doctor Who podcast with Danny Inside. That's on SJP World Media.
And DDT Wrestling with DC and Doc.
There you go. Make sure you give all those fine people a listen to and a follow. And make sure you give a follow to the other member of our podcast team, the Mayor of Canton. Give him a follow on Twitter. He is at Mayor of Canton. He does a meal with the mayor every Wednesday where he tries different fast food items so you can get the jump on what's good and what's not good. And if somebody can tell you what's good when it comes to food, it's the Mayor of Canton. And of course, make sure you check out everything that's going on at Sports Wire Radio and our buddy Thomas Bryce, who's running things over there. Give Tommy a follow on all social media platforms. That is Thomas Bryce. That's spelled just like it sounds. B Rice. Thomas B. Rice. And make sure you check out that website. It's Sportswire Radio with the Z.org. And hit that listen live button here. Many great shows just like ours. And subscribe to their YouTube page. Subscribe to our YouTube page so you can watch the life and times of Psycho Sid. He will get his rematch against Undertaker this week. Let's see if he can win his championship back or will he be screwed over by someone yet again? Tune in and find out if that's true or if I made it all up. I didn't make up shit. It's true. Anyway, that's it. That's all for us this week. The only thing left to do is for Glenn to say goodbye.
Goodbye.